Okay, now you probably might be wondering what this equation means and what it is. Now, this equation in this form is obtained when you apply all the transformations to the function, the parent function. And as you can see here, all the letters written in red are called the parameters. And what is the role of each parameter? That is what I'm going to talk about now. Okay, now let's talk about the parameter A, which represents the vertical stretch or compression. Now when A is greater than 1, that means there is a vertical stretch by a factor of A. And when A is greater than 0 but less than 1, that means there is a vertical compression by A. Now, if there is a minus sign in front of the A, that means it has been reflected along the x-axis. But it will still be either stretched or compressed vertically by A. Now, if there is a minus sign in front of the A, it will still be stretched or compressed vertically, but it will be reflected along the x-axis. Now, let's talk about the parameter K. Now, when K is greater than 0, that means there is a horizontal compression by a factor of 1 over K. And if K is greater than 0 but less than 1, that means there is a horizontal stretch by a factor of 1 over K. Now, if there is a minus sign in front of the K, that means it has been reflected along the y-axis. Let's take a look at the parameter D. Now, when D is greater than 0, that means it's been translated D units to the right, or shifted. And if D is less than 0, that means it's been shifted or translated D units to the left. Now, because that minus sign in front of the D, people often get confused with that, which is why I am going to clarify. Okay, now let's look at the parameter C. Now, when C is greater than 0, that means it's been shifted or translated C units up. And when C is less than 0, that means it's been shifted C units down. Now, since there is a plus sign in front of the C,
Example 1 is sketch a graph of the function y equals to negative 1 over 2 to 4x minus 2 to the power of 3 plus 1. Function y x cubed is compressed vertically by the factor of 1 over 2 and reflected in the x-axis. Reflected on the x-axis. It's also compressed horizontally by the factor of 1 over 4. It's also translated 2 units to the right. and translate it 1 unit out.
Okay everybody, now let's take a look at example 2, in which it says the graph of y equals x squared, which is the parent function, is transformed to obtain the graph of y equals 4 into minus 3 x minus 2 close bracket whole square minus 5. Now let's list all the parameters, which I said earlier are a, k, d, and c. Now, let's take a look at what the parameter of a is. Now, the parameter of a is equal to 4, which means that it is vertically stretched by a factor of 4. K is equal to minus 3. It is horizontally stretched by 3 still, but it is reflected along the y-axis. Be careful with that minus sign in front of the 3. Now, d is equal to minus 2, which means that it has been shifted 2 units to the right. C is equal to minus 5, which means that it has been shifted 5 units down.
The parameters a, k, d, and c in the polynomial function of the form y equals a at k at x minus d to the power of n plus c, where n is a non-negative integer, corresponds to the following transformations. A corresponds to the vertical stretch of compression, and if at less than 0, a reflection in the x-axis. K corresponds to the horizontal stretch of compression, and if k is less than 0, a reflection in the y-axis. D corresponds to horizontal translation to the left or right. C corresponds to vertical transition up or down.